Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here, and today is Antonio Makes Monday, and it's another mini. I went and grabbed a couple more of Antonio's freebies to work with today, and I'm waiting anxiously, chomping at the bit for his Christmas goodies to come my way so I can play with some of those. But in the meantime, I figured, okay, well, I'll just wait and play with these today. So these are two freebies that he has, both on his website and at his, in his Facebook group under his files list. And if you join his group, you would just click on the files and you can go get them for free and download them as you like. He also has an incredible collection of beautiful digital kits that he sells on his website. And his newest ones are his Christmas collection, and they are just gorgeous, gorgeous. There is something there for everyone, whether you're making a journal, whether you're making tags for Christmas, whether you want to fancy up some greeting cards, or even make some little ornaments for your tree. There's lots to choose from. So I'm looking forward to actually getting to play with some of those kits eventually. Hint, hint, Antonio. And I saw Brenda had hers already today, and she was making these cute little pouches to go on the Christmas tree. And I will try to remember to put a link to Brenda's channel. And she was making these cute little pouches that she put candies or little tea bags in, and they were adorable. I was telling her it reminded me of, when my grandmother was alive and she had a Christmas tree up. As kids, we would go over to her house, and she always had little candies. They were wrapped up little candies, and they were stuck in the branches of the tree. And you're only allowed to find one, and she didn't make it easy. You had to really look. And once you found a candy, you could have it. And she did this all the time up till Christmas, and there was always something in the tree, whether it was a little wrapped chocolate or a candy or a candy cane. You got a little treat for the day. So it reminded me of that because she had suggested hanging these on the Christmas tree with people's names on them, and they were just adorable. So yeah, I'm getting into that little bit of a spirit, although we don't have that kind of a gathering here in New Brunswick, but it still puts you in the spirit for sending things out. So because I'm anxiously waiting, Antonio, I figured I would play with these two freebies today. And, I kind of wanted to play with them anyway, so it's probably a good thing I don't have my Christmas kit yet. And what I've done is I've printed these on cardstock today, not paper. And I don't want to move this one just yet because I have already pre-cut it. And it's just to remind us, as much as I love to reuse and repurpose everything that comes in my path, whether it's packaging or book pages or, pieces of cardboard or plastic. I love to repurpose all that stuff. But once in a while, we have to remind ourselves that, we need to work with the fun stuff too. The real scrapbooking papers, the real printables, and all those fun things that make this journey and this crafting experience so much fun. So I printed these on cardstock today to remind us that it's another process that we forget about, and we tend to print on paper and not think about printing on heavier stock that we can use for other projects, things that could be folded up and made into things. Now I've made these, we're going to make notebooks today, and I'm mass making them only because my stash is getting really low. And I'm planning to work in both these fall orangey rusty colors. These are my colors. I'm planning to work on them very soon. I'm getting a little overloaded on the pink, but I still have a couple weeks of pink yet to do. And I also have some blue stuff on the go. So I thought, I'm going to make some notebooks in those colors, just to get ready for what's coming up in my next batch of journals. So this sheet I printed on 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and there was a little bit of an edge to it. If you look at this one, you can see there's a little bit of an edge here that I trimmed away on this set. I'm not going to get all 6 done on camera. I'll just concentrate on these ones for now. So I pre-cut it, and I'll give you the measurements of what I cut after, but it's just printed on ivory cardstock, just your 60-pound weight cardstock, and that just gives you that manila type of weight. And the reason I did that is because, one, you can print right onto the cardstock, so it eliminates the job of gluing stuff onto cardstock, although I do love doing that as well. And, it was just a chance for me to have something that was quick to put together and very effective as far as the coloring. So I pre-cut these. Now, I said it had a little bit of a margin, so by the time I trimmed it away, it was about 10.75 inches across. So I lost about a half an inch that way, and I lost about 3/4 of an inch going this way. So they measure about 7 5/8 and by 3.5 inches wide. And there's a reason I made them 3.5 inches wide. And that's because I'm using this roll of paper that I had. It's just a craft paper. I think it came from, I think it's like a painter or drywall type of paper. I'm not 100%, but it came in a big roll. I found it at the thrift shop, and so I've had a lot of mileage out of it so far. And I figured I would continue going and using it today. It's just an easy project today. And this is just to remind you also that if you're ever out and about and you look and you find adding machine tapes or fax machine rolls, they can also be used in your crafting projects. And I would just tear off a good chunk of it at a time, roll it up, and dip it in some coffee or tea to ink stain it or stain it with your stamps. So keep your eye out for these when you're out and about. I did have to bring some component of repurposing in there, didn't I? So that's what I'm using. And this tape it turns out that it's 3 inches wide. So I do want to have a little bit of space on either side. So I made these 3.5 inches wide, and I just went with the flow of the length. It doesn't matter to me how long they are, because they're still going to end up perfect size for in my book. It left me a little leftover piece, which is such a pretty piece. I will definitely use this for sort of a washi, a faux washi in upcoming projects. So I don't waste this. This will go in the pile and get used. And I wanted to make this super fast, super easy, just to show you. So I have some punches in my stash, some corner punches. And I thought I would just do a little corner punch. Now I'm winging this as we go, so don't know how well these punches. I haven't used them in a long time. Oop. So let's hope. Oh yeah, that comes through. And I just wanted a little bit more of a decorative edge on the top side of these notebooks. So I'll just do that again. Hopefully I did this right and it works. If not, you say oops and you do it again. So again, I've got my decorative edge. On the bottom, I thought I'd either round corner it. This one I'll round corner, but the next one I'll probably just cut the corners off. So just taking my round corner punch. I think I have to, I have another one of these. I think I'll have to dig it out and use it because this one's getting a little bit dull. And then I'm just going to take my ink and ink around the edges here a little bit. So yeah, just a fun, fast, this is a great way to mass make things. And if you're feeling that you're in a little bit of a funk, this is a great way to just get things done and not really think about it too much, especially if you're doing the same things over and over again. And all I did was I folded this back, and I think it's about 1.5 inches. Yeah, it's about 1.5 inches. So just lining it up. Probably could have folded it first, but that would make sense, right? So I have this decorative flap with the beautiful back on here, and it ends up being, just shy of 6 inches tall. So it's about 3 inches wide, 6 inches tall. It depends on how much of a flap when you fold this part over. I really, like I said, I just play, and whenever I see something, whatever it looks like, that's kind of what I work with, and I don't give it too much thought other than that. And then I wanted about 6 sheets of paper. I'm going to just move this out of the way. And I wanted about 6 sheets of paper, but I don't like to cut 6 times. So because this was 6 inches, I figured, you know, if I fold it in half-ish, sort of, maybe if I make it about 10.5 inches long, because I didn't want it to be full 6 inches. So the first one I made, sorry, get my ruler out here. You know, if I'm going to do this, I make it about 10.5 inches. And the next one I'm going to make, say, 9.5 inches so that it's a little bit shorter. You may not be able to see my ruler in here, I'm not sure. And then the last one I'm going to make 8.5 inches. So it's a little bit shorter each time, and that's so that they stagger nicely when I put these together. Okay, so I think this is my largest, and that's my largest. Okay, so my largest, and then my next size down. And you can play around and finagle this a little bit to see how it best works for you. So I've lined them all up together, and at this end you can see that they're staggered, 1, 2, 3. And all I'm going to do is bring those staggered edges forward, sort of about 1/2 inch down, or 1/2 inch away from the bottom 3. Does that make sense? So I have them all lined up together. They're staggered on the one side, and I'm just bringing it down to about 1/2 inch from the other 3, from the bottom. And then just lining it up, and then I'm going to do a test. Yes, it's going to fit, so then I actually make the fold. And you can see that the bottom 3 are curling up because this is a roll. So all I did is, or all I've done in the past, is just take my ruler or my scissors and just kind of roll it back the other way against the paper. So they're all nice and tight at the top. I have a good fold in the top. They're lined up along the side here, and all I do is I stick them inside. You know what? I'm going to ink around the edges, something I never thought about till now. I'm going to ink around the edges on the inside too, just so it's not so stark. And I have my page inked, and I'm just going to pile those all in there together, kind of measuring to make sure that it's sort of equal on each side. And then taking my stapler, I'm going to staple. And then taking my pliers, you know I always like to staple with the prongs facing up whatever way I'm going to be decorating. And then I push the prongs in so they're not sharp. And this just gives a nice flat finish that you can't even see really on the back side. And I can now decorate on the front. Now I really wanted to make this a simple project. And all I brought out was some labels. Actually, this one is a little bit higher, so I'm going to use a wider label for this one, I think. This is my It Bits boxes. You know, I like using my little bits on things. And okay, here we go. Here's a perfect one. And so they're all organized in the box based on what's in them, and I've shown you how to make the boxes, so you'll have to go back and have a peek at how to make them. And then just taking my glue pad, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. Using my glue stick. Now, Antonio also has labels. If you were looking for labels, he's got all kinds of fun labels there too. I'm going to have to move this up a little bit higher. And voila, you've got a little notebook. Now, I wanted to make these a little bit more like a tag. So if you cut your corners, or if you want to cut your corners and make it look tag shaped, I think I'll work from this side so you can have a better idea or see it a little bit better. You can trim the corner, and if you're one of those people that likes to make them exact, you flip over your corner you just cut off and trim it away again. I usually just wing it, but for the sake of this video, I will measure. Although I don't know that it came out that perfect. And just inking those corners that I just cut off. So now it looks more like a little bit of a tag. You've got 6 pages inside to write on, and as well the back to write on. You can decorate the inside of this. I'm just going to take my hole punch now and punch a big hole. I'm using the large on my crocodile. And I've gone about a 1/2 inch down into there. And I brought all kinds of little fibers with me to the table. And so I'm just going to grab a bunch of them that kind of color coordinate with his colors. Like, isn't that beautiful? Okay, so I've got a piece of that. And I usually cut about 15 to 18 inches. Now, what are these? Yeah, this is it's about 15 inches long. I like them to be very floofy looking with lots of different styles of fibers. Anything that complements, and in this case, they all complement so nicely. I've got another ivory one here. If I can find the end. It's going to be one of those things, right? Okay, you're coming with me right to the end. And cutting that off there. Now, sometimes when you get this much bulk, it's not so easy to... I'm going to use another orange one because I really want a little bit more orange. And they don't have to be the same size. I think I've cut one a little bit longer here, but I'll leave it like that. Sometimes when you have this much bulk, it's not easy to get it through that little hole. So I often will just have a paper clip handy and open it up. Now you can do this with a piece of wire, or if you have a crochet hook, you can do it with a crochet hook, a bobby pin, whatever you have handy. And I will wrap this around to kind of hold it all together. And then I will feed my paper clip into the hole, or through the hole. And because it's holding everything, you do have to still be careful that you don't rip the paper, but you can kind of jiggle it so that you get all of your different fibers coming through on the other side. I hope you can see that okay. And then I get my fingers in there, pull the paper clip out. And then weave these through each other. Through the loop. And pull it tight. Now, just before I pull it too tight, I like to put a little dot of glue. And that's so that I know they won't come undone. So I put a little dot of glue. And you won't see it by the time it's all pulled out and down tight. You won't see it. And this way I know that the fibers are staying on my little project very neatly. And it just adds a little bit of extra to the project, to this, it's just a printed piece of paper. and we've turned it into a really cute little notebook. You could do this with Christmas papers. You can make some fun little lists. You can use this as a tag to give as a gift. And maybe just have one extra little page that can be torn off afterwards where you say to and from, or some type of little label that says to and from so that the person can tear it off and then use this as a little notebook. So they're so easy to make, so easy to slip into journals, and they just look so rich. Like, look at the colors. Antonio, could we have matched these colors any nicer? Like, they're just so pretty and so complimentary. Now, sometimes, if I have the materials in front of me, I will put labels or little ink stamps, or, a butterfly or a bird or something to further enhance this. You can put something on each page. You could ink each page. You can cut them into more fancier shapes. Whatever you like. It's entirely up to you. It's entirely what you have available in your stash. If you want to define the different pages, you can also put little tabs on each page so that people could easily flip the pages. And just like that, you have a cute, cute little notebook. So I'm going to do another one while we're here. And like I said, these all come from Antonio's free kits. So I'm going to take my paper, fold it down about 1.5 inches. I don't measure, you guys know that. And then I'm going to chomp on my corners to give it a more decorative edge. That one turned out weird. I don't know, I must have missed the corner there. Okay, stranger than whatever, but I know how to fix that. I'll just chop that off. There. You won't know. You won't tell, right? As April says, take it to the grave. She's not telling anybody, she's taking it to the grave. So that's what I'm doing. You won't know that I made a little corner mistake there, and I'm just inking this up on both sides. Now, maybe you don't have a decorative punch. You can always just take your corners and snip them off, like just snip off the little pointy nubs and then just keep going from there. Inking it on both sides. So maybe Cindy and Darcy, maybe I am capable of doing more than one project in an hour, as long as I keep doing the same thing. And so I'm going to cut no, I won't cut the corners yet because I want to wait until I got my papers in there. So this one again is, okay, 13 by 6. So it's about 6 inches. Oh, I'm getting really good at cutting these. So again, I went about 10.5 because I didn't want to go the whole 6 inches cut in half. So if I had gone 6 inches cut in half, that would have been 12 inches, right? And so I wanted to make it a little bit smaller than that. So I said about 10.5 for the first one, only because I don't want to do the same thing 3 times or 6 times. I could just cut them all individually and make them a 1/2 inch or so smaller than each one, but this just seemed to work so easy and fast. So the first one was 10.5 inches long, so now I'm going 9.5 inches long. And 8.5 inches long. And I know you might not be able to see my ruler. Maybe you can, I'm not sure. And then I took the longest one, matched it up. You could even make it just slightly smaller if you wanted, just so that you'd be able to see all 6 pages showing through. And once I have those lined up, I can take the other 3 pages and fold them over this way. Is that right? No, it's not right. What did I do wrong here? Because I should have went this way. That's what it is. Just the opposite side. Okay, just ever so slightly. And slightly. And then now these 3 should fold down in front. And let's see if we measured the right measurements. Not bad, pretty good. So I'm going to fold that up. And just the one is a little bit long, so I'm going to tear it shorter. I should have allowed and gone maybe 10, 9, and 8 to allow for the fact that I wasn't folding it right in half. Does that make sense to you, for you guys that are doing this? If not, you know, the worst case scenario, you just have to tear a little bit off. Or add a longer piece on. Okay, so now that I've got it lined up in there, I'm going to staple it. And the first one I stapled quite high, so I'm going to staple this more in the middle this time, like in the middle of the cardstock. And this is so I can use that narrower label. And pressing the prongs in. And I've got this label here that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to make sure that I cover the staples, because that's the whole idea, is to cover up the staples. And then adding the label on. Somewhere buried on this table is my glue cap. And then I'm going to hole punch it. I see I didn't put that on very straight either. It's a crooked kind of day today, after I did such a good gluing job. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And then taking my hole punch and hole punching it. And since I already have one made, I can use that one as a measurement for cutting my corners. And line that side up. Inking my corners. And then I'm going to ink all these pages along the bottoms just so that they're a little bit more visible. And then pick out some fibers again. So yeah, you could actually make these for your coworkers, you know, for Christmas, just to have on their desk, for a little to-do list type of thing. Sometimes it's nice to give something that's more functional. I'm going to use a little bit of black this time, because there is black in here. Sometimes it's nicer to give something a little bit more functional than just a Christmas card. And I don't want to say just a Christmas card, because some people really make some elaborate Christmas cards. But it's nice to give something that people can use, as well as enjoy, you know, and you can still have your sentiments on it. But I like things that are functional as well as pretty. Okay, so I've got a good assortment there, and taking my paper clip that I had unfolded, I'm just going to catch all of those in the center, push it through the front, and then slowly wiggle and jiggle until I get all of the fibers, because some of them are really lumpy. I do use the larger hole when I use the crocodile for doing fibers. And then pulling them through the loop in the front, from the front to the back. And then I gently start to pull it in the right direction, and then I just put a little dot of glue there before I pull it all the way. And what happens is the loop ends up covering that dot of glue, and then I just slowly pull it tight. And just like that, I have a second little notebook. So I'm not going to bother to show you the third one, but it is under an hour. Yay! And so I know that I can get quite a few of these made and put aside for my journals. And, you know, it is, like I said, it is a little repetitious of what we do, but this is just to show you how you can use cardstock instead of packaging, how you can easily print these up. You could print them up for Christmas if you have Christmas papers, or, you know, for a theme or for a birthday party. There's always different ways that you can use these, and it's very inexpensive to make, very quick to make. You can even have a little label on the back where you say to and from and your sentiments, you know, whether it's Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or Happy Day. Give them to coworkers, teachers, you know, the bus driver, your hairdresser, all those people that can use a little notepad that and it looks a little bit more decorative, and it's something they're not going to throw away so quickly. They're going to actually use it. So I hope this was a fun project for you. And like I said, it was just a fill in until I do get my Christmas kit to work on. No pressure there, Antonio. But yeah, I'm going to make some more of these, and I will have them all ready to show you in my Friday follow-up when I get everything together, because that seems to be working well for me. If you like these papers, or any of, if you go out and check out Antonio's kits on his website, amazing stuff. If you decide you want to purchase some of them, you just type in the code KIM, K-I-M, in capital letters with the number 10, into the promotion coupon spot on when you're going to pay for them, and you will get 10% off. And not only do you get 10% off, you are helping Antonio's site, and you know, he's an amazing artist that gives and shares back so much with all of his subscribers and his followers on Facebook. So you're giving back to Antonio, and then I get a little kickback too, because if you purchase something, I get something back from Antonio in the form of a commission. So it helps us all to show you more things, to keep creating, and you know, sharing the opportunities all around. So have yourself a very creative day and a creative week, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's my Techniques Tuesday, and I got a fun project for that day tomorrow. See you all soon. Bye for now.